A man's silence can be his greatest strength, or it can become a tomb. Many men carry burdens so heavy they are invisible to the world, but felt in every fiber of their being. This is the burden of unspoken truths. The truths about their failures, their fears, their true desires, and the stark realities they cannot bring themselves to face. Society often dictates that a man should be a pillar of silent fortitude. He should not complain. He should not reveal his vulnerabilities. He should simply bear it all. Yet, this constant suppression of reality, this refusal to acknowledge the inner turmoil, is not stoicism. It is a slow, internal rot. Consider the soldier returning from war, bearing witness to horrors no one else can comprehend. He speaks nothing of it, burying the images, the guilt, the loss. The weight of those unspoken experiences begins to fracture his spirit from within. He walks among us, a ghost in his own life, haunted by the truths he cannot voice. This is not an isolated incident. It is a pandemic of the soul, afflicting men across every walk of life. The executive who denies his crippling fear of inadequacy, the father who cannot admit his disappointment in his own path, the artist who silences his true vision for commercial appeal. Each one carries a silent monument to what is left unsaid, unseen, unacknowledged. These unspoken truths manifest in myriad ways. Chronic anxiety, simmering anger, a pervasive sense of emptiness, a loss of purpose. They are the termites of the psyche, gnawing away at the foundations of a man's being long after the exterior appears intact. The constant effort to maintain the facade, to keep the truths buried, is exhausting. It drains his energy, dulls his senses, and leaves him brittle, prone to collapse under any further pressure. What is the ultimate cost of this internal silence? It is the erosion of authenticity. A man who cannot face his own truths becomes a stranger to himself. His decisions become less aligned with his core, his relationships strained by a hidden disconnect, his own sense of self-worth diminished by the constant internal dissonance. There is a profound difference between disciplined restraint and fearful avoidance. Stoicism teaches us to control our reactions to external events, not to deny the existence of those events or our internal landscape. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, urged himself to waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. But to be one, a man must first understand who he truly is, warts and all. This requires an act of profound courage, the courage to look inward, to confront the uncomfortable realities, the failures, the fears that have been meticulously catalogued, but never opened. It is the willingness to stand in the harsh light of truth, even when it reveals imperfections, even when it demands change. Why do so many men shy away from this confrontation? Often, it is rooted in a deep-seated fear of judgment, both external and internal. We are conditioned to believe that acknowledging flaws or pain is a sign of weakness. The Stoic ideal is often misinterpreted as emotional suppression, rather than emotional regulation and rational acceptance. But suppression is a temporary dam against a rising tide. Eventually, the pressure becomes too great. The unspoken truths, denied entry into the conscious mind, find other ways to express themselves, through physical ailments, destructive behaviors, or an overwhelming sense of despair. The dam breaks. This is the point of collapse. It might not be a dramatic, public implosion. More often, it is a quiet fading. A man loses his drive, his engagement with life. He becomes a shell, the vibrant inner life extinguished by the sheer weight of unacknowledged realities. The world continues to demand strength, but the source has dried up. Can a man rebuild after such a collapse? Yes, but not by continuing to deny the weight he carries. The first step is acknowledging its existence. The second is to begin the painstaking process of dismantling it piece by piece. This doesn't mean airing every grievance or revealing every insecurity to the world. It means confronting them within oneself, understanding their roots, and making peace with their presence. It means accepting that the ideal of the unshakable man is a myth. Real strength lies not in the absence of struggle, but in the capacity to endure it, to learn from it, and to integrate its lessons. It is in the quiet, internal work of integrating the shadow self, the parts we deem unacceptable, the truths we fear most. This internal honesty is the bedrock of true resilience. It allows a man to stand firm, not because he denies the storm, but because he understands its nature and his own capacity to weather it. He stops carrying the weight of unspoken truths and begins to carry the wisdom gained from acknowledging them. The unspoken truths do not have to be a tomb. They can be the forge that shapes a stronger, more authentic man. This requires a shift in perspective, from avoidance to acceptance, from fear to courage, from silence to mindful articulation. The man who faces his inner world, however dark, steps into a truer form of strength. He understands that his burden was not the truth itself, but the refusal to acknowledge it. By speaking it, even if only to himself, he begins to lighten the load. He stops being crushed by the weight and starts carrying the wisdom, transformed by the very realities he once feared. The silence that once imprisoned him becomes the quiet space for genuine rebuilding. This is the path from collapse to resilience, forged in the crucible of honest self-confrontation. The battle for his spirit is won not in the absence of struggle, but in the courageous embrace of all that he is.